Assalamu alaikum, dear friends. In this video, we are going to learn about the demonstrative pronouns, and keep remember that demonstrative pronouns are more important than uh, other pronouns, because some of the questions have been asked in CSS and PCS papers from these demonstrative pronouns. Let us start the video and start learning about the demonstrative pronouns. First of all, here we have two examples. This is a present from my uncle. These are merely excuses. And the next example is both cars are good, but this is better than that. And the fourth example is Quetta mangoes are better than those of Kalat. Okay, now let us take this example. Okay, this example has been this sentence has been asked in a sentence correction question in the CSS paper 2 and 3 times. Okay, there were written that Quetta mangoes are better than Kalat. Okay, this was not written the same, not the same, but the only Quetta name was changed. Mean, for example, there were written Karachi mangoes or whatever, but the only this demonstrative pronoun were not present in that sentence. Or and this is the common sense of any of the persons, common sense, that how can we may say that there are two things are compared. One is Quetta mangoes and the second is Kalat, the district itself. Okay, so how can be this possible? So those of mean is used for the mangoes, that those mangoes, Quetta mangoes, are better than mangoes of Kalat. So now here demonstrative pronoun is pointing out the mangoes. Okay, as we have said that pronoun is sorry, pronoun is used instead of the nouns. The rest examples are I may have offended, but such was not my intentions. Okay, now here such is used in the place of offended. Mean here says but offense was not my intention. And number 6 example is the stranger is welcomed as such. Now as such is used in the place of stranger. Mean the stranger is welcomed as stranger. Okay, now here we have the explanation that it will be noticed that the pronouns in bold. Okay, in the previous slides everywhere you may see in the bolds like this, these, this, that, those, such and such. So these are bold are used to point out the objects to which they refer, and are therefore called demonstrative pronouns. Okay, these all are called the demonstrative pronouns because they were pointing, or they are pointing out the objects or the nouns. Okay, now here we may say that these demonstrative pronouns like this, that, these, those, and such, and both are can be used demonstrative adjectives. Okay, but the only difference between the demonstrative adjective and a demonstrative pronouns is when the adjective demonstrative adjective is used, they are always used with the nouns. Okay, they are preceded by the noun, mean the pronoun, sorry, the adjectives, demonstrative adjectives always come immediately before the noun. Now here we have the example, this book is mine, that pen is yours. Okay, now if you look after this and that, there comes nouns immediately after them. Third example is these books are mine. So after demonstrative adjective there is noun. The next examples are those pens are yours. What was that noise? So keep remember, the only difference between the demonstrative pronoun and demonstrative adjectives, demonstrative adjectives are always followed by the noun. Okay, mean the demonstrative adjectives come not come, preceded by the followed by the noun, not preceded, sorry, followed by the nouns. But demonstrative pronoun, okay, when the pronoun demonstrative pronoun is used, so they are always followed by the verb or other parts of speech. This is, and further examples are this horse is better than that horse. Okay, after you may see demonstrative word, there comes the noun horse, this horse and that horse. So this and that here in the example are used as the demonstrative adjective. And the last example, all such people are to be avoided. Now such is immediately followed by the noun, that is why this is called the demonstrative adjective. Okay, now next we say that with its plural those is used to avoid the repetition of a preceding noun, of a preceding noun. How, here is the example that the climate of Kulu is like that of Quetta. Okay, now here that is pointing out to what, the climate. Okay, and we may say that it is used to avoid the repetition of the preceding means the before, the noun which comes before the demonstrative pronoun. Okay, so now the actual sentence is the climate of Kolu is like the climate of Quetta. But we don't repeat the noun, as according to the English rules, we do not repeat the nouns. So instead repeating the nouns, we use pronouns in the place of noun. So that is why we are now pointing out to what, to the climate of Kolu, and we are saying that the climate of Kolu is like that of Quetta. Okay, after understanding this, second example is the streets of this city are worse than those of Quetta. Okay, now here again, those is pointing out what? Pointing out the street. Okay, and keep remember, at the above example we used that, and that is used for the singular noun, and climate is a singular noun, so for that is why we used that singular. And for here streets is a plural in number, that is why we are using those instead of that. And the next example is our soldiers were better drilled than those of enemies. Again here those is also representing pointing out toward the soldiers. Okay, now here next comes when two things which have been already mentioned are referred. Okay, now try to understand this very importantly. When two things, which have been already mentioned in the sentence. Okay, already mentioned mean two things when before they are mentioned and they are again referring to that. So now here consider the use of this and that. Keep remember this and that. And we use what? We use this refers to the last mentioned. Okay, when we mention two things after each other, so this refers to the last mentioned, mean the second one, and that refers to the thing which is first mentioned. Okay, this point must be remembered. This is used, sorry, here this is used this when two things are mentioned are already in a sentence. So this is used for the last thing mentioned, last, and that is used for the first thing mentioned. Okay, how? Look at the example. Virtue and vice offer themselves for your choice. Okay, now here we have the first class and we have mentioned two things. One is virtue and the second one is vice. Okay, now according to the referred things, we have said this refers to the last mentioned. Now we use this for the voice. Keep remember. Okay, this leads to misery, mean we are saying or we are pointing out voice leads to misery. Voice leads to misery, and that is pointing to virtue. Virtue to happiness, mean that to happiness. Hope you understand it well. Next example is alcohol and tobacco are both injurious. Okay, again we have here two nouns. Okay, sorry, two nouns or two things mentioned in a class. Now here this is used for tobacco. Okay, and that is pointing out to the alcohol. This perhaps less than that. Okay, both are injurious, no doubt, both are injurious, but this perhaps less than that, what does it mean? This perhaps less than that mean tobacco perhaps less injurious than alcohol. Okay, now after understanding this very clearly, here our video ends. So keep remember to understand demonstrative pronouns very well, because many questions and many sentence corrections repeated each time in the CS and PMS examination from this very demonstrative pronouns. Okay, so take care of yourselves, keep watching my videos and keep learning with me. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.